All right, hey guys, John, Bigfoot Lacrosse here on Bigfoot TV. Got some special guests this afternoon, Kyle Harrison, Brett Hughes, Team STX, and they're in town. Actually, they're here to see Bigfoot. They spent some time at Nike, but we know the real reason they came to see Bigfoot Lacrosse, so we're very pleased to have them here. Guys, you got 2 weeks under your belt, brand new to the Riptide. First couple weeks of practice, it's got to be tough to break yourself into an established lineup. How's that been for you guys?
I think it's been a good 2 weeks. I think for Brett and I, it's an interesting situation coming out to a team like LA that's done so well already. They lost in the finals to Philly last year, and so for us, it's fun to come out and get to play alongside Sean Lindsay and Chaz Woodson, Spencer Ford, and all these talented players. And I think we're finding our way pretty well.
Yeah. How about the defense? That's a pretty well-established D-line. You finding space for yourself in there, trying to kind of be the new guy without rough shot riding in?
Right, absolutely. I'm happy that happy to be a part of a team that pretty welcoming. It wasn't we didn't ruffle any feathers when we came in. They welcomed you, and playing alongside Bice and DJ Driscoll and having a goalie like Mickey Jarbo back you up it's nice. I've been blessed to play around some good defensemen and had some good goalies in the past, but this has just been pretty easy transition.
Now you guys traded from the Pride. Was your decision to move to the West Coast based on that trade, or had you made the decision to move west and then kind of requested the move?
Right.
Excuse me.
I think that I've always wanted to get out a little bit from the East Coast, and been in Virginia since I graduated, and so I decided to come to LA. It was definitely a choice to move, a lifestyle change more than a lacrosse change. It just worked out that New Jersey and LA kind of saw eye to eye and were nice enough to help it make it just a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, it seems Jersey's taken a new tack, kind of clearing house a little bit, building up some draft choices.
Right.
Obviously, Jesse, your former teammates, now joined you in LA.
Yep.
So kind of the Pride West.
Yeah, it's interesting to, I guess for us to have Jesse out here is incredible. I think he was one of the main reasons I loved playing in New Jersey. Was to get to see him every weekend, and not only his ability on the field, clearly he's an incredible player, but I think just he's a funny dude.
Yeah.
He's very entertaining, and we got to actually spend a funny night with him last weekend at the ranch with the LA team. So it's been great to have him around.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Coming from the East Coast your whole life, noticed on your blog you mentioned the first Mother's Day you've been away from mom.
Yeah.
A little tough. And coming from the Midwest, what's the culture? Has there been a culture shock? Because the West Coast is everything they say. It's different.
Right, it is. I think for us, though, I think we kind of fit in wherever we go. I think I try to keep an open mind. I'm a bit judgmental at times, and I'm trying to grow up from that a little bit. But for me, Brett mentioned it earlier, I'm from Baltimore. I went to college in Baltimore. I lived in Baltimore 2 years after college. I needed to get out at some point, so this is huge for me to be able to come out to LA, continue to work with STX and Nike, and continue to play in the MLL. And it was just really convenient for New Jersey and LA to be able to work it out and get us out there.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was definitely it's definitely a little bit of a culture shock, but there's good people everywhere you go. The first thing I heard was the people are different. Well, you can find some good ones, and I was blessed the fact that not only my teammate, but one of my best friends gets to move out across country, kind of a built-in support system, and got into a great job down at Student Sports, helping set up some pretty cool lacrosse camps that will be coming up this summer. And it hasn't been as much of a culture shock as I would have thought.
Yeah, except people are people, and you always find.
Yeah.
And the lacrosse community is still, as much as it's growing, it's still pretty small.
Right.
We all kind of know each other, so.
Exactly.
Yep.
Getting up to Bigfoot Lacrosse, as opposed to, Lax World or whatever you're dealing with back east. Having STX getting us up and down this coast, it's been a cool, fresh, new look at it.
What do you think of West Coast lacrosse now that you see it? Obviously, we're catching up to the East Coast because that will always be the dominant area. But what do you think of the talent you've seen up and down the coast?
I've seen tons of talent. I think the one thing that I do notice is the maybe, I don't want to say lack of coaches, but for lack of a better way of saying it, definitely
inexperienced.
Of experienced coaches that are teaching kids the right way to play. Brett and I were fortunate enough to drive across the country, and we went from Baltimore to Ohio to St. Louis to Denver to Utah to Vegas to California, doing clinics everywhere.
It's a great drive.
Yeah,
I've made that.
But doing clinics everywhere, and some schools in the newer areas had some good coaches that had played back east, and some schools didn't, and you could blatantly see who was teaching the right things. So I think you're seeing the game explode, and think West Coast lacrosse will catch up, but at the same time, I think we got to get more coaches out here, experienced players, and teach these kids the right way to play the game.
Very good. Well, that you're in town with the new STX Nike partnership, can you give us a little insight? You mentioned you were doing some Sparks training this week, or was it more testing out equipment, or kind of giving them feedback on stuff? What was going on over there?
I work for a company in Torrance, California called Student Sports, and we do Nike football training camps and have Spark combines. We set up a lot of their elite level camps, and we'll be doing that soon this summer with lacrosse. So wasn't really testing out equipment, it was more just kind of getting on the same page, making sure that these camps are, as authentic, as helpful, and good for the kids as possible, because in year one there's only going to be a few, but a couple years down the road we expect to have one in Oregon.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah, and for me it was I had Nike, as you mentioned, is getting into lacrosse now, and I think they're doing it the right way, and that they're they're picking my brain and Brett's brain and Ryan Powell, and they're asking so many questions. So for me, I just had meetings to go over footwear and apparel and bags and just every last thing, every little thing, just before they make any moves, just trying to get the insight from the player's perspective.
Is there going to be Nike product on the walls in Bigfoot next year, do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no.
All right.
I'm going to say keep
Thinking
your eye
about
out for
it.
something.
Okay. Where do you guys see? Obviously, the game has changed tremendously in 10 years. Where do you think we'll be in another 10 years?
Wow, I think you're starting to see it, and it's funny, we just talked about this yesterday. I think that where you used to have athletes playing, and then you used to have really skilled players playing, I think that that's becoming one player now. The most dominant players are the most athletic kids who are also on the wall, doing the right thing, working on their stick, so they're sharp in every level. So I think that you're starting to see it with ridiculous athletes like Paul Rabel or the Bratton twins, or these athletes who could excel in a lot of sports are starting to play lacrosse, and they're very skilled. So I think that in 10 years you're just going to have more and more, and I think there's going to be more and more parity in college lacrosse, which can only is only great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's a great answer. I think more about the professional game, and I wonder if it's going to ever take it to the next level. And I think 10 years might be too short a time period, but hopefully 15, 20 years will be a big-time sport, something like, I'm not sure we'll ever get to the NFL level, at least not in our lifetime, but hopefully we'll continue to grow.
Very good. Well, we'll look forward to that. Obviously, you guys will be a big part of that change, so we want to thank you for the time of coming in, spending some time with us here at Bigfoot. Guys, come in, check out all the STX gear, and make sure you get out and catch an MLL game this summer. Brett Hughes, Kyle Harrison, Bigfoot TV.
One love.